Welcome back to the weekend. We are just 45 days away from Election Day, and Vice President Harris is going on offense on reproductive freedom. During an event in Georgia, Harris focused on the real-life dangers of restricting abortion access.
This is a health care crisis, and Donald Trump is the architect of this crisis. He brags about overturning Roe v. Wade. In his own words, quote, "I did it and I'm proud to have done it," he says. He is proud.
This crisis made possible by a Trump-stacked Supreme Court. And this November, voters will weigh in on Trump's abortion bans for the first presidential election since the Dobbs decision 2 years ago. Joining us now, Michelle Goodwin, professor of constitutional law and global health policy at Georgetown Law School. She hosts the On the Issues podcast from Miss Magazine. Also with us, MSNBC legal analyst Jill Wine-Banks, fresh off her sold-out show at the 92Y with her friends, the Sisters-in-Law podcast. Welcome to you both.
Welcome, ladies. Michelle, I want to start with you in this conversation to help us set some context now of how this debate, we all know since the Dobbs decision how politically things have changed. But given the more recent doubling, tripling down that we see from many on the right, where it's not just about abortion.
That's right.
It's about how women are the root cause of the problem.
Yes, yes.
So we need to control y'all. We need to make sure, you know, Mark Robbins said you got pregnant because you didn't keep your skirt down, and now you want to, I mean.
You can't make it up.
You cannot make it up. These narratives that are coming from the right are so far removed from the arc of the abortion storyline from 1973.
Yes.
What does that tell you about this moment in the eyes of voters, especially young women who really seem to have something to say about this
well,
that
Michael,
they want to say?
Thank you so much for having me back on the show, both you and Alicia. Look, cruelty is the point behind all of this. I've been saying that this is a new Jane Crow. Let's keep in mind it was Mississippi that brought forward the challenge before the Supreme Court. This is the Mississippi that Fannie Lou Hamer came from, the Mississippi that placed black women in slavery, that denied them the opportunity to vote, that restricted them and their children from walking in parks, playing in swimming pools, even being able to play checkers and chess and billiards, actually written into law. These times are quite chilling and horrific, and as the vice president was mentioning, deaths are resulting from this post-Dobbs atmosphere. But to your point, this is taking pages of playbooks from back pre-slavery. When you look at Arizona in 1864 abortion law, that's before Arizona became a state, but importantly, it's before slavery was abolished in this country. And we really must understand and connect the old thread to the new. What was old is new again, and we fail ourselves and our democracy if we don't get that. Some people have said that this has been a 50-year Republican campaign. That's wrong. Roe v. Wade was a 7-2 decision. 5 of those 7 justices were Republican appointed. Planned Parenthood v. Casey, which reaffirmed Roe v. Wade, 5-4 decision, and each of those 5 Republican appointed. This is something new, it's extreme, and it's quite dangerous.
I want you to weigh in, Jill, on everything that Michelle just shared with us, but I think part of what becomes complicated when we talk about the courts is that people feel as though that is something far away, esoteric, removed from their lives. And what has happened to women like Amber Thurman is a reminder that it is very real. I want you to take a listen to what her mom and sister had to say during the Unite for America live stream.
I want y'all to know Amber was not a statistic. She was loved by a family, a strong family. And we would have done whatever to get my baby, our baby, the help that she needed.
I'm beyond hurt, disappointed. I feel guilty. I wish I could have helped her, because she was suffering. And we had no idea. We trusted them to take care of her, And they just let her die because of some stupid abortion ban.
The thing is, you watch that and you either think to yourself, that could be me, that could be my daughter, that could be my best friend, and all of a sudden, all of these legal implications become very real.
You have it exactly correct, and I think the messaging is so important. And I also, for Michael, I want to say, I think that young men are also realizing the risk that this is posing. It's messaging that's important to make it apply to everybody and their lives today. I think Vice President Harris did it in terms of talking about the school children on picture day being evacuated. It brings it to real life, to every day, to things that aren't just a legal problem, that isn't just the Supreme Court, it's how it's affecting. I think that this case in Georgia was one of the most dramatic and moving things I have seen on this issue.
Michelle, sort of bringing it into focus as the Amber Thurman family did so well there. I mean, this really kind of stops you in your tracks. You have ProPublica piece talking about clarifying the health exceptions written by Kavita Sarana, noting, quote, Republican legislators have rejected small efforts to expand and clarify health exceptions, even in Georgia, which has one of the nation's highest rates of maternal mortality, and where black women are 3 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related complications than white women. That storyline is in consistent narrative with what you were just saying, yes. How that old is new, because those threads still are being tied together for so many women, Michael, in a way that we're seeing now is killing them.
That's absolutely right. What we've seen post-Dobbs, an increase in infant mortality, infant morbidity. The United States had already led all of the industrialized world in maternal mortality. We rank around 55th in the world. This has only exacerbated it. And Michael, to be clear, these legislators knew what was coming. In Louisiana, there are doctors who more than once, there have been 2 or 3 hearings where doctors have come forward and said, we have had 8-year-old patients that have been raped and pregnant. Do you really expect for an 8-year-old girl to go through pregnancy, labor, and delivery and become a mother at 9 years old? The testimony, I've read it, I have seen it, and you have lawmakers turning a blind, cold eye to it. There are now little girls in the United States going into elementary school as parents, as mothers. And to Jill's point, it implicates boys too, because who's impregnating these girls? Yes, some of them are adult people, but we're also talking about boys who are 12 and 13 years old becoming fathers too. What in the world, what sense does this make? It is cruel. It's cruel to our children. It's cruel to our society. It's cruel to people who have to endure this.
So as we sit here talking about the morality and the severity of this, you got Donald Trump on Truth Social saying in all caps, this is Friday, you will no longer be thinking about abortion because it is now where it always had to be, with the states and a vote of the people.
The states are going to restrict it, not enable it. It's up to the federal government. And let me just say, in terms of Trump and Vance, this is part of their overall attitude toward women, toward postmenopausal women whose only purpose in life is to babysit grandchildren. And God forbid they didn't have children, then they're useless to begin with because they're childless cat ladies. I'm a childless dog lady. I think that we need to start looking at the overall attitude toward women as equal partners. Pass the Equal Rights Amendment, got to get in a plug for that, because we aren't equal yet. And the fact that the Supreme Court and the Republican candidate for president and vice president can treat us this way means we really need more protection.
But Michelle, that idea that Alicia just spoke to, that, you know, reading this Trump quote saying, hey, it's in the states, and the states now are going to decide, and people get to vote. It's going to be that easy. Until it isn't. And it isn't when California, Maryland, you know, Washington, Oregon, New York say, we want a different, as a state, since you're giving us that power, we want to vote a different way. And the response from Republicans is, well, I think we need a national ban.
Yes, that's right, which is called for in Project 2025, which we should all be paying attention to. It is that page book, Back to the Past. But there's something else, Michael. Let's keep in mind voter suppression. It is real in the state of Georgia. If you're black, you stand to be waiting in line 3, 4, 5, even 7 hours this year trying to vote. Legislation that's been passed, no one can give you a cup of water. They can't give you a sandwich. We have to keep in mind that turning this back to the states is actually giving us a photograph of what was taking shape in the United States in the 1960s, where black people really had to suffer in order to vote. And let's talk about Mississippi again, where black people had to guess how many bubbles on a bar of soap, jelly beans in a jar, recite the state's constitution in order to vote. And I'm sure there are people who say, well, you no longer have to guess how many bubbles on a soap or jelly beans in a jar. But what does it mean, as in last year, where the ballots are run out and they're not available because you're in a black district and you're trying to vote and there are no more ballots for you to be able to vote? This kind of chicanery is what can be expected this November.